This is going to be a short interface review of the Coach.me service, which is formerly a habit tracking service that is at its premise free. They do offer additional services such as the habit coaching and the leadership coaching if you're in a workplace situation. Now, when you log in, you're taken to the dashboard. In today's dashboard, these are the habits that I previously set up. I've been using Coach.me off and on, and it's never something I've fully committed to, but it's a service that I appreciate because of its community aspect and its community focus. In the aspect of Code Academy here, this is a habit that somebody else created, and I joined that habit, and I set my weekly goal to be 2 habits a week. And it will show you questions that people ask, and it will show you, then you can see answers and whatnot. The basic premise is that it's a community-based focus system. So if I go here and add plus, it's going to give me categories of various habits to join. So this is really great if you need help or ideas in terms of what habits you want to form. But don't get too carried away here because it's so easy to say, oh yeah, no screen after 10 p.m. I'm going to do inbox 0 every day. But if you're not fully committed to it, then it's just going to be another habit that you have on here, and then you're going to be demotivated because you're not going to be checking it off every day. So just be careful of that, but it's a great way to get ideas for what habits you should consider joining, and it's basically all public. So we have exercise. I'll join this one. The problem with this particular one is that it's not setting a specific priority, but when you create a habit, you're given these options. So privacy. So this is whether you want other people to see when you actually check in. You can set a weekly target, say 3 times a week. But in the actual creation of habits, that's not a good thing to do because it's much easier for our automated planning system if we set a habit to be once every day or once every week, rather than, oh, let me just decide when I'm going to do it 3 times a week. You can also set a reminder, and so this will send either an email, or if you have an iOS or Android, it will send that as a reminder to your phone as well. Then you have the option to hire a coach. So for every specific type of activity, there are coaches that they designate to be experts in that area. And so those are people that you can have calls with, you can have chats with, and messages, and they'll send you messages periodically throughout the week, encouraging you to complete that habit. The one downside of when you're choosing a habit, in this case exercise, I feel like it's so popular because it's so vague and abstract. And so this is very difficult, I think, for a lot of people to commit to just exercise because that could mean almost anything. And so whenever you're committing or creating a habit, I'd highly recommend that you take a specific exercise and you stay specific to that. So in this case of when I had write for 30 minutes. So this is a very specific thing. I can either write for 30 minutes or I can create one that's write 1,000 words a day. In the case of read, admittedly that's not a great one. But this is a community aspect one. This is a community habit again. So you want to consider what are specific habits you can type, whether it's a process based, which is something, say, a certain number of minutes per day or a certain number of words, that is going to be much preferable. Now, when you go to, say, create a habit, say I'll type in brushing my teeth, then it'll attempt to show you other habits that other people have already created, and then you can choose to join those based on the information that you see. Now, if you ultimately don't want to join one of those, and you might want to create your own, let me say brushing my teeth cats. And so in some cases it'll it'll have the option to create your own habit at the very bottom, but they seem to discourage you in wanting to try to do that. So I'll click on create, but note what it just did is that it created a group. So this group is independent from me, and now this group exists for other people to join on Coach.me platform. Now I can join that group and I can set my privacy to private mode, but be aware if you're setting something very specific and it might be a little bit revealing, even though people might not necessarily see that you're associated with this habit or this goal, it is now publicly available on the platform for other people to join. So just be aware of that. But otherwise, I can go ahead and check it off, and it'll give you information so you can add a note. It'll also give you stats such as the calendar view, what your current streak is for that habit, and then you'll see these dots, and these dots represent the amount of times that I dedicated myself to actually trying to accomplish that habit on a weekly basis. So it's an interesting service. We can also go to the activity feed, and this is going to show you all the other people in your feed, so you can connect your Facebook account, and it's more or less like a like. So I can like that person and let them know, great day for doing a Duolingo third time in a day. Otherwise, we have the Find a Coach service, and so this is sort of the alternate of trying to find a coach in relation to a habit rather than finding a coach in specific to a habit. So otherwise, that is that. This is my short review of the Coach.me service, and it is available for iOS and Android.